Loud. We are recording. Brandy, the introduction is yours.
Wonderful. Welcome to our next portion of today's AI Showbiz with a fireside chat with Molly and Yevik Muchnik. She is the impact lawyer who handles the legal and the tech futures. She is part of the Launch Legal LLC. And so we're going to bring both Molly and Yevik into the conversation. Welcome to AI Showbiz Fireside Chat.
Excellent. Yeah, are you here in the metaverse?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Yes, I always feel so calm and grounded when Yev is in the house because Yev is the kind of person when you're in the foxhole of life and they yell incoming that you want guarding your back. She truly is one of the most gifted and extraordinary attorneys, expert on blockchain, crypto, and now NFTs. And she does collaborate with Jacob, who spoke earlier. And, I can't emphasize enough the importance of good legal advice. We all need good legal advice, and that can make the difference as entrepreneurs and inventors. And so I'm just really excited. Yev is an encore speaker joining us again, and I love getting to do this fireside chat format. So much fun. And I want to kick off, Yev. I wonder if you could just start by telling everyone a bit about your background and how you came to do what you do, including blockchain.
Thanks, Molly. I also, that's quite the introduction. And I just want to also extend such a heartfelt thank you and gratitude to you and the whole entire AI Showbiz team for doing what you do and doing it just continuously better and better and better each year. It's just an amazing collective and collaborative collective to be a part of. I think you are educating the world and you're bringing together collaborators and sparking new ideas and interests, and just massive applause and kudos to you as always.
Thank you.
So I got into blockchain about 2016, 2017, really just stumbled into it. I'm huge technology dork nerd, and so my legal practice revolves around technology and advising early stage startups, tech companies, and it was just a natural collision with the blockchain underworld. And sort of once you go in, you never go back, or once you can never turn around. So I'm lucky to live in Colorado, which has a really, really active community. And in 2017, we would have meetups, we would have clubs, we would have all sorts of events around blockchain and cryptocurrency. And so looking at it from the technology side and then putting on a legal lens and a regulatory lens was really exciting, just because as it continues in some ways to be very much a blue ocean and a very novel, innovative space. And that's, in law, there's very few kind of industries and practice groups that you can say that about. So being sort of on the bleeding edge of innovation and that intersection between law and technology, I don't know how somebody could say no. So it's been a steep learning curve at most days and most times and most years, but I've been lucky to be in a really supportive community. So if I'm asking somebody about what, bonding curves and yield farming and various DeFi questions, somebody will break it down for me. And even when NFTs started to become sort of more prolific and kind of the greater world, I also needed somewhat of a kind of a tech 101 on how they work and how the different ways that I would look at them. So that's sort of my entry point into this world, and I've just been riding that wave and participating in the communities and hopefully making some impact from a legal perspective as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm going to get right to it. I know you can't disclose anything confidential, but can you give us an idea of the kind of blockchain and even NFT problems your people in general are coming to you about? And this will help our audience know how they could work with someone like you.
Well, yeah, so in the blockchain space, that we're having a lot of conversations about governance and the correct sort of corporate legal structures that and frameworks that support Web 3.0 technology. And so we've been fairly creative in structuring those and being really true um, to kind of the principles that these communities are looking to build out and to serve, and how best to serve them both internally and then as they grow. Um, so governance is definitely massive. Also capital raising. Most early stage companies, any company needs capital. They need either crypto capital or they need cash, pure cash to thrive. And so it's finding ways that are non-extractive fundraising methodologies to help them grow and scale, and again, not to lose their core principle, not to be deprived by traditional venture capital. So governance, fundraising, and then now some of these alternative assets, just asset classes that have come about, including NFTs, and figuring out ways to mint NFTs, how to preserve copyright and various IP rights, social tokens, community tokens, ways to really spark these communities that you start from kind of step one in structuring, and then kind of seeing them through their life cycle and helping them grow and kind of and create kind of enthusiasm in their own communities, and also build their own protocols and technology and what have you to support the greater network and the greater systems.
That's beautiful. That's really important work, and everyone out there needs that type of help that's getting involved in this arena. And I've had people say to me, if you're going to, do the NFTs and work with these smart contracts, you need to lawyer up. You need to have the right guidance and advice there to help you navigate the waters. So the next part of my question is, for those who aren't used to reaching out and having someone with your abilities, what advice do you have for them so that they can work with you in a way that's productive?
It's a good question. So I'm pretty simple. I don't know. Anybody that reaches out to me, I feel like I guess I owe them some kind of social duty, social legal duty to help them, at least point them in the right direction and act as a resource. It obviously helps, if you have somewhat of a game plan as to what you're trying to achieve and build out. That definitely makes kind of a better use of time and the working relationship, a more productive working relationship. But generally, I don't know, I think there's a good number of kind of socially conscious, ethically aligned, values aligned, mission aligned lawyers out there that you should be able to reach out to without having to think about them, billing you at some ridiculous 6/10 of an hour amount. And I actually had a client that I just engaged with, and he responded in an email. He was like, lawyers are scary. Like I find, I don't know how to kind of interact with you. And it was a really, it's really pertinent to the question that you've just asked. And I said, look, I'm not scary. I'm like, hopefully I've convinced you to have signed an engagement letter that I'm not scary. But, we're here to act as any other collaborator in this world, right? And hopefully you find kind of the good fruits. Of course, there's people that are just generally difficult to work with and unapproachable, but feel free to reach out and I will point you in the right direction. But you should, lawyers, they're just, they should never be gatekeepers.
Yeah.
They should only act as a resource.
All right, the next question is one I get asked a lot, and of course, I'm no attorney, but when I tell people I'm embracing blockchain and NFTs and all things crypto, and they ask, can you really do that kind of work without having legal problems in the United States? I mean, where do the laws stand right now for businesses getting involved with blockchain, crypto, token economy?
I mean, I can tell you that they've come a long way since 2017 when we were truly, it was a black box. There was no, it was, um, and have some precedent out there to be able to guide them uh, capably or zealously. But the laws have come a long way. I mean, the states, particularly Wyoming, have sort of crusaded and really been pioneering some of the things that you can and can't do. You know, Wyoming just passed the DAO, the ability to form a DAO, which will take effect in July. And that's pretty big. The special purpose depository institutions that came about in the last year or so in Wyoming. So, but that's really, that seems like it's on a very micro level, but it is really affecting the nation as a whole and our regulatory policy as a whole. You're also seeing a lot of crypto forward, crypto adopting executives from former executives being placed into treasury and pretty significant roles in the U.S. government. So if that's not a sign that we're shifting in the right direction, where we are supporting this innovation, back in 2016 we were having conversations that the U.S. Regulatory environment just doesn't support cryptocurrency or blockchain projects at all, and was driving innovation out. And it was to an extent, but you're not seeing that as much as you were before.
That's
So I think that the huge shift, it's very positive. It's a really positive time to be living and creating, and the kind of the shift in power to the people, the democratization to the people is really the purpose of this discussion. And that's what I'm so excited about. I'm excited about just the massive possibilities out there. The fact that I don't know if that was on the Clubhouse chat that we were having yesterday,
yeah,
and the attorney that was
yeah.
on the Clubhouse as well. But there was an example that was given that, the kid who's living in some remote country that is an artist that wasn't able, that maybe didn't have the tools to be able to create their art, can now potentially do it in a digital way and create revenue for them, create income for themselves. It was just never possible. And that, I mean, I don't know, that stops my breath, right? It's really equalizing the playing field out there. And I'm really excited. I mean, there's so much more to come. We're at such an early stage of all the realm of possibilities.
That's wonderful. And what an exciting conversation we had on Clubhouse for the pre party yesterday. If you weren't there, we recorded it and we'll share it shortly with everybody. So you mentioned the DAO, and that's recent. Would you enlighten the viewers about that? Some people have mentioned that word, and it's something that not everybody fully understands. And where would that come in the you assisting someone legally?
Yeah, so a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, and basically it's a loose affiliation of people that is not technically affiliated in kind of the legal, the confines of legal entities, right? And by default, with the exception of 35 states that do recognize these unaffiliated groups of people, you're by default you're treated as a general partnership, so which exposes you to potential liability for your acts, and then the acts of your partners. So come into, in kind of with technological innovation and the blockchains and transparency, you have a group of people that can come together, collaborate, have certain governance principles, vote on things, take in money, disperse money like a fund, and they're collectively being referred to as a decentralized autonomous organization. And really what makes it so is the technical or technological framework that they rest on. And so a lot of these decisions are made with the use of smart contracts. And so the benefit or the real attraction there is that things are very transparent. It's not like a standard top-down corporate organization structure where you don't see how budgets are being decided on, how funds are being allocated, whether a company is doing poorly in one year. It really again gives power to the people in that organization. So it's yeah.
It's an extraordinary thing. And before we open it up to some Q&A, I just wanted to see if you had any final words of advice for people out there that are getting involved, maybe for the first time or recently with blockchain, the token economy, this whole round that we're in with the cryptocurrency, and of course, non-fungible tokens.
I'm going to say two things. So one is get involved, and especially to BIPOC, minorities, women, as Tim Draper said on his talk earlier, go get a wallet, right? Get a MetaMask wallet, get a Trezor wallet from Amazon, whatever it is, start playing, start feeling, start getting in there and downloading and opening and trying things on and asking questions, because there's enough of a community out there that will support you and help you. And just watching it from the sidelines, not good enough at this point. Like there's so much innovation and it's moving so quickly. So if you wait and watch it pass by you, I think it's going to be a huge disappointment. But empowering kind of the minorities out there is a huge kind of personal mission for me. And then two, just wanted to put in a plug that we are doing something a little bit meta, and creating an NFT of an NFT license agreement, so that people can kind of have the adequate protections from a legal perspective and create that unique piece that then you can potentially fractionalize or reuse or what have you, but at least it'll protect your rights as a creator, an artist, or an author. So look out for that, and we'll be launching that pretty soon. So
what a great idea.
NFT license agreement.
Oh, I think that's great. So I'm going to turn it over to Adrian. Are you here, Adrian, to take over for the Q&A? And if
Thank you, Molly. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
I am. I have to switch to my broadcast studio as I run back to the studio. But Yev is one of my very, very favorite people, and I'm so excited. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, and I was so lucky that I just ended up sitting by you at Sundance. That was very fortunate, and thank you for the friendship, Yev.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hi, it's so good to see your face. Hi.
Thank you. Oh, Adrian, you're one of my favorite blockchain women.
Huh?
You are one of my favorite blockchain women.
Oh, I said that in our private back chat. I said you are one of my favorite people ever, and one of the smartest lawyers I have ever met. And you know me, I'm kind of a bee about my work.
Yes, you are.
I like my lawyers smart. So let's talk about. I'm gonna actually pick your brain just a little bit, right? So we have all of this innovation at our fingertips, and all of these emerging industries that are diving into NFTs and diving into blockchain. And then you're in Colorado, so then there's cannabis, right? So do you see the use of blockchain and NFTs as a way to really kind of legitimize and add that transparency to like the cannabis commodities market and things like that, where it's, you know, right now people are like, no, it's illegal, it's drugs, it's that. I'm like, yeah, have you looked at the medicinal benefits? Because there's a lot of them. So, you know, that's really where I'm looking at it, is like, how do we make cannabis more mainstream acceptable, and can blockchain and NFTs help with that? And what do you see in the industry?
I mean, I think it's a really compelling question. And I don't think I've thought of it in that, I haven't gone in that direction in my thinking, but if you sort of decouple all of the criminality and the, you know, the kind of the white dress or whatever, what the best way is, like the religious, you know, principles around cannabis, and you look at it as from an agricultural perspective, right, as an ag product that has certain IP tied to it, and the strain and the way that it's cultivated and the way that it's grown, and you strip all of the other stuff from it, yeah, absolutely, why not? I mean, you could do the same thing for tomatoes, you could do the same thing for corn, you could do the same thing for chilies, as you know, and yeah, why not? And you have this unique way of doing something or representing something in the way that it's done. It's just cannabis. It's just, and I know this is a wonderful or favorite topic for you as well, but pornography, right? Or like sex or the dating sex, anything, right? You strip away all of those societal layers. We look at it, you know, just from a purity perspective, and it's IP, it's creation, it's proprietary information.
So this is one of the things that I'm so excited about, because, you know, pretty sure cannabis is going to be legalized pretty soon, and that leads us to a whole bunch of opportunity. And one of the things that I really love about blockchain is that it does add that level of transparency. You can go, you know, seed to buyer and know the entire supply chain, know where everything stands, you know, and then figure out, you know, is it indoor grow? Is it outdoor grow? If it's outdoor grow and there's a hurricane, probably going to be a problem, right? So you might want to short that one. But you got to look at it, like you said, just like agriculture. But I see that there's going to be a huge boom in this. And then with NFTs, you know, that I just feel like people don't understand the NFT market. They're thinking, okay, it's a piece of art, or okay, it's a piece of music. But no, it can be so much more, and pretty much anything that requires rights or title.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's unique. Yeah.
That's unique. So I think that is absolutely fabulous. So for you, what are some of the, like, if you had to look forward like 5 years, where do you think we're going to be in terms of blockchain adoption for mainstream people?
Well, I mean, where we are, you and I have known each other since 2017, and we're again going back to that point in time. Where we are now and where we were then is just we've come a long way, right? So it's hard to predict, but it's always going to be the next something that isn't there yet, right? And I don't know. I guess I don't know where we'll be as far as adoption, but I know that you've got to get on the train, right? You're going to miss it.
Right?
It's
the best time to plant a tree was
I keep wanting to reiterate the fact that it's not too late to get on that train. It's not too late to participate. It's not too late to become some kind of a player in the system, because that's what really matters, right? And it's, you know, that's what I'm trying to evangelize here is, you know, everybody needs to come in and play around with the toys in the sandbox here.
I always say that you're an OG if you're in before there's a Udemy class. And it was only about a month ago, they put up the first NFT Udemy class. So I'm like, look, you're just an early adopter, but you're still an early adopter.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, and you're definitely one of the OGs in the blockchain space, especially in law. And you and I have had some fun conversations about untangling things.
We have.
So what are your top 3 pieces of advice for founders who are thinking about diving in? What are their concerns? I know you'd mentioned domicile before, because for me, that's always the number one thing is, you know, where to domicile and why, and then what blockchain and why. But what are some of the maybe the sand traps that they're not seeing that you want to give them a little heads up?
Yeah, so domicile is important. Wyoming just offers so many different beautiful layers of privacy and corporate protections in the existing corporate legal framework. So that's one. The other one is, we're still in the land of security or not security, security or not security, security or not security. So that is a huge trap. And if you are sort of playing in that environment, you should be consulting with an attorney, because that is it's so many booby traps there and what you can do. But luckily, I mean, as of March 15th, the SEC has really come a long way in loosening up a lot of the restrictions that had previously existed. It's opened up investor kind of parity for non-accredited and accredited investors. Reg CF, the cap has been raised from 1.07 million to 5 million. Reg A plus, you can do so much with funding portals. Check out fairmint.co, which is an awesome kind of portal where you can kind of program your equity, and Tim Draper just invested in them, so they're an awesome.
What was that?
They're called fairmint.co.
Nice.
Really, really, really cool way to raise additional capital on a continuous securities offering model. So domicile, securities, and then team. I guess, figuring out how to protect yourself down kind of in the long journey ahead, right? And you should always start any new entity or any new collaboration or project. Unfortunately, or at least have your lawyer think it through, but in somewhat of a negative way, that you have to prepare yourself for some kind of a divorce.
Prenups.
I'm gonna jump in. Yev, could you chat that Fairmint company that recently got just chatted in, so we can all see it? That would be so great. And I want to thank you so much, Adrian, for doing Q&A, and Yev. Really, you're at the forefront here of the wave that is all things crypto. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. It's so needed. And I do want to reiterate to everyone out there, getting really good legal advice could be the difference between success and not having success. So you got to meet
now. Orange jumpsuit, yeah.
Yeah, you've gotten to meet a couple wonderful, talented attorneys through this event. So thank you for zooming in. It was so fun to do the fireside chat like last year. I love that format with you. Yeah, thank you for letting me share the stage with you. Very, very exciting to do. Definitely.
Thank you. Thanks, Molly. Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah, so good to have you here.
And we have something this year that I'm beginning to really notice. We have a lot of women leadership here, and the female energy and the power in technology and law and all of this. If you're a woman out there getting started with your career, you absolutely can go anywhere you want to. This is a great time in history. And those of us who have gone before you have in some ways paved the way. And that, wasn't really a focus, but I'm realizing it is, because I'm about to introduce an extraordinary woman leader, and in her own right. And it's almost time, isn't it, Brandy, for our next one? So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording really quick, which is what